Good evening. I'm Ruth Walks, Associate Provost for the Arts and Executive Director of the Moss Arts Center, and I welcome you to this preview of our 2020-2021 season. Thanks to all of you who continue to support the arts here in our region and wherever you live in the world. This fall, we will launch our 8th season here in the Moss Arts Center at Virginia Tech. Typically, we work from 1 to 2 years in advance to select programs and develop relationships with the artists who will participate here, both on stage and in our galleries. This year, our planning has taken many unexpected turns, with unforeseen challenges and new opportunities. I am incredibly proud of the Moss Arts Center staff and their ability to be nimble and creative in developing programs, both virtual and in person, that continue to offer the rich, engaging, and diverse experiences that are core to our mission. Since we closed in mid-March, we have hosted 18 virtual chats, 3 in-the-moment live online events with regional artists, 2 major live stream concerts in collaboration with colleagues across the country, all totaled reaching more than 20,000 people from around the world. Our Moss All-Access exhibition tours and special Virginia Tech Student Art Spotlight continue to highlight the visual arts on our website. Now more than ever, we need the arts to lift us up and bring us together. And artists, too, need the support of presenters and audiences to keep their work alive and relevant, and to ensure we all can experience great live performances for years to come. Your continued support of the Moss Arts Center is critical to all of us. We are very excited for the year ahead. To help us get in the spirit of the coming season, we have a special performance to share with you this evening. Joining us from her home in New Orleans is one of the season's featured artists, Layla McCalla. Layla, a bilingual multi-instrumentalist, cellist, and singer, finds inspiration from her Haitian heritage, living in New Orleans, and growing up in Brooklyn, New York. Some of you may know her also from her time with the Carolina Chocolate Drops. It's a great honor for us to welcome Layla to our preview this evening to share her distinctive music.
Thank you, Ruth, for that introduction. Again, my name is Layla McCalla, and I'm a Haitian-American artist. My family being from Haiti is a big part of my work and a big part of my inspiration. And so in that spirit, I want to share with you a song that I have been singing for the better part of the past 10 years. This one's called Merci Bon Dieu, and I found it on an album called Haitian Folk Songs by Franz Cassius and Lolita Cuevas. But Franz Cassius was a Haitian guitarist, and he wrote this song in the 1950s. It's called Merci Bon Dieu, which means thank you, Lord. And the song is talking about being thankful for a good harvest. And so it says, the rain is falling and the corn is growing and all the children are eating, so let's dance. Our Father up in heaven says our misery is over. Merci bon Dieu, gardez comment la misère finit pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez comment la misère finit pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez tout ça là, n'a tout porté pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez comment la misère finit pour nous. La pluie tombée, maïs poussé, tout le monde qui gagne prend les manger. On nous danse Congo, on nous danse Pietro. Papa bon Dieu dit dans le ciel la misère finie. Papa bon Dieu dit dans le ciel la misère finie pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez comment la misère finit pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez comment la misère finit pour nous. Merci bon Dieu, gardez tout ça là, n'a tout nous danser piéton. Papa bon Dieu dit dans ciel la misère finie. Papa bon Dieu dit dans ciel la misère finie pour nous. Misère nous finit, misère nous finit, misère nous finit. Misère nous finit.
Thank you, Layla. We look forward to seeing and hearing more from you in the fall. Our plans for the season include a thoughtfully curated series of intimate, virtual performances in the fall that will give you a chance to engage directly with the artists. We anticipate and hope for a return to the in-person events in our Fife Theater in the winter and spring, even with physical distancing. Our galleries will have exhibitions that you can visit in person starting September 10th. Those will include a new large-scale commissioned work by Hudson, New York-based artist Jason Middlebrook, a series of installations exploring art and social conscience, and a Moss Student Ambassador curated exhibition of artwork from our very own Virginia Tech students. Rest assured, we will be following recommended health guidelines to ensure the safety and health of our patrons, staff, and students as we welcome you back into the building. And now I'm happy to pass the mic to Margaret Lawrence, our Director of Programming, to take you deeper into the fantastic season we have planned. Margaret, take it away.
Thanks, Ruth. Well, it has been a wild ride. In the past few months, we have truly pivoted, especially for the fall. Some of the engagements we'd scheduled for fall have been moved to this spring, others to next year's series, and some have been reconceived to be part of our new virtual fall series, HomeStage. And some new faces are in that mix too. In all of this change, as Ruth mentioned, the effect of the pandemic on artists has been particularly devastating. So our priority, both in how we approached last spring's cancellations and found ways to pay artists for HomeStage, has been to support artists. I'm very excited to share the extraordinary artists we'll be bringing you this season. A theme you'll see among many of them is flight and refuge, words that touch on international geopolitical issues like migration and national borders. Those themes remain in the forefront for all of us, even though the events of recent months have shared center stage with them. And we think about maps. Even in this time of crisis, when we look at a specific kind of map daily, we're reminded that maps also show our commonalities and the distances we've traveled. As I mentioned, our digital fall, the Moss HomeStage series, will bring us a variety of fun events uniquely tailored for our community. We'll kick things off with Bowen Yang, who made history when he became Saturday Night Live's first Asian American featured player. He's also one of the show's very few openly gay male cast members. If you've never seen his version of a Chinese-US tariff expert, it's a riot. We'll join Bowen at home for a fun, frank conversation. Venezuela-born concert pianist Gabriela Montero is celebrated for her brilliant interpretations of classical repertory and for her ability to improvise, composing and playing new works in real time. Recipient of a Latin Grammy for Best Classical Album, she has a devoted worldwide following. For us, Montero streams a recital including a classical work and an astonishing real-time classical improvisation based on audience suggestions, live from her studio in Barcelona. As you saw earlier, Layla McCalla is a cellist, banjoist, singer, and guitarist who embraces American roots music at its most fundamental. She'll join us from her home in New Orleans for more music and conversation with the New River Valley's own New Orleanian, Shawanda Marie. Always a sold-out party, the band Pink Martini is inspired by the romantic Hollywood musicals of the 1940s and 50s. With arrangements of Latin music, cabaret, and cinema scores, their sound defies categorization. Lead singer China Forbes, whose songs swoosh past like fabulous gowns in a vintage fashion parade, joins founding pianist Thomas Lauderdale for an intimate concert taking us on a musical trip around the world. Enjoy at home with a cocktail of your choice. Delana Studi dreamed of following the footsteps her ancestors were forced to travel along the Trail of Tears. In 2015, the Cherokee actor and writer embarked on a 6-week journey to retrace the path her great-great-grandparents took when they were forced to relocate from their homelands. A powerful one-woman show honoring Indigenous people everywhere, And So We Walked, recounts her own journey to understand her identity. Studi performs excerpts from the play and engages in conversation. And this program is presented in celebration of Indigenous Peoples Day in partnership with Virginia Tech's American Indian and Indigenous Community Center. Iconic Grammy-winning American fiddler Mark O'Connor garners standing ovations at the Grand Ole Opry with shows unlike any other, blending Americana with incredible sophistication. Mark and his wife Maggie deliver a treasure trove of music together, then share Mark's rare instruments and stories. It'll be a rich evening connected to Appalachian history. Known as Bounce, Efrat Asheri showed us her formidable street dance chops when she came to the Moss with Dorrance Dance. A New York-based B-girl with training in ballet and modern dance, her own work Odeon joyously remixes breakdance, hip-hop, house, and Vogue. Set to live Brazilian jazz, Odeon is scheduled at the Moss this spring. This fall, in a free engagement presentation, she'll break down the work, introduce the dancers, who will demonstrate their specialties, then the whole company will pull off a live-streamed hip-hop improvisation. Charismatic British playwright and performer Javad Alipour takes us on a fascinating deep dive into the dark web, where tech-savvy extremist groups are ripping up the rule books. His bold, interactive solo theater piece tells this story, one of an international crisis of masculinity and the underground networks of the internet that it breeds. This private multimedia performance will be live-streamed from a theater in Manchester, England, especially for us, and includes parallel social media interaction with the artist. Then, later this year, as we hope to return to our own stage, we have a number of exciting performance highlights. 2 leading chamber ensembles join forces for a concert highlighting the experience of migration. Immigration Music of Change features music written or inspired by migrants and immigrants from the African and Latin diaspora. Catalyst Quartet features alumni from the internationally acclaimed Sphinx competition, while Grammy-nominated Imani Winds leads a revolution of the wind quintet. Performing both individually and together, the ensembles transform ancestral stories into music. Comedian Paula Poundstone's smart humor has become the stuff of legend. The first woman to perform stand-up comedy at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, she has starred in her own series on HBO, ABC, and won an American Comedy Award for Best Female Stand-Up. And you've probably heard her on Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me. Showcasing powerful contemporary dance with exciting live drumming and song, Colombia's Sankofa Danzafros, The City of Others, portrays the reality of marginalized communities who've been up against ethnic discrimination for generations. This work about urban struggle and resilience demands the city be a place of coexistence, a place for everybody, not only a few. The Grammy-nominated Kaunas Symphony Orchestra has established itself as a magnificent musical force. Led by principal conductor Konstantin Orbelian and joined by the dynamic Grammy-nominated American violinist Robert McDuffie, the orchestra will present Tchaikovsky's sweeping Symphony No. 5, the lyrical Brahms Violin Concerto, and the overture for Mozart's famous work, The Marriage of Figaro. In new music, Wilco guitarist Nels Cline and Grammy-nominated Izuri Quartet join forces for 7 Limbs, a virtuosic tour de force filled with melodic beauty, rhythmic urgency, celebration, and serenity. Juxtaposing Klein's inventive guitar playing with the quartet's classical outlook, American composer Douglas Cuomo creates a new musical landscape with an openness that parallels the Buddhist practice of 7 limbs. This will be the world premiere for 7 Limbs and is one of only a few performances of the work featuring Nels Cline. Tara Westover's best-selling memoir, Educated, has captured worldwide attention. Growing up in rural Idaho in a survivalist family, Westover had no birth certificate and no formal schooling. At 17, she decided to educate herself, escaping her family to eventually earn a doctorate from Cambridge University. Led by her unquenchable thirst for knowledge, she broke ties from an early life of hardship and brutality and found loyalty to herself. If you remember our presentation of pedal punk in 2015, you know the fantastic theatrical troupe Cirque Mechanics. Now, workers in a widgets factory break away from the monotony of the assembly line in this family favorite, Birdhouse Factory, with unicyclists, trapeze, and giant wheel champions, and a fantastic trampoline that defies the laws of physics. We are very excited to welcome back these top circus artists. Not just the most famous classical music, but also folk music sounds new when played by the phenomenal, Grammy-nominated Danish String Quartet. With such joy and warmth in its music making, the quartet is known for impeccable musicianship and, above all, deep expressiveness. The Danish String Quartet's Moss debut includes Mozart and Shostakovich quartets and folk music from Nordic countries. If you've heard The Moth on NPR, you know that even in this wired age, we still crave the comforts of a heartfelt story told live. The Moth brings the power of personal storytelling to millions of people each year, celebrating the commonality of human experience. The Moth main stage is a curated national best-teller evening, where people share personal stories without notes. Sir Andras Schiff is not only one of music's most revered pianists, he's one of its greatest interpreters and your guide for a journey through sonatas by Beethoven, Haydn, and Schubert. In addition to performing worldwide, the Budapest-born Schiff has been awarded numerous international prizes and praise, including a knighthood for services to music and critical acclaim for his recordings. Hear the stories of young international refugees in Cartography, a wonderful play about the lives of children who themselves illustrate both flight and refuge. In this extraordinary and timely evening, we meet kids who are setting out into the unsure waters of their futures. From inflatable rafts on the Mediterranean to family photos hidden carefully in a backpack, to their expansive dreams, this play is based on real interviews. It's recommended for audiences grades 6 and up. MacArthur Award-winning Mexico City-born author Valeria Luiselli's recent works recount her experiences as a court interpreter for unaccompanied child migrants caught in the labyrinth of U.S. immigration policy. These experiences, her attempts to document them, and the ethical dilemmas these efforts pose are at the core of her latest novel. She's the winner of 2 Los Angeles Times Book Prizes and has been nominated for the Booker Prize. Grammy-winning bassist Edgar Meyer returns to the Moss for the 3rd time. Meyer is celebrated the world over for his work as a performer and composer, while the Scottish ensemble dazzles audiences with vibrant, engaging performances that redefine the string orchestra. This performance includes classical works by Bach and Elgar, along with a new piece Meyer composed specifically for himself and the ensemble. Los Angeles multimedia artist Miwa Matreyek interacts with her digital animations as living shadow silhouettes at the cross-section of cinema and theater. Infinitely Yours explores global warming and the vastly changing Earth. As you can see, her work is magical, mesmerizing, and breathtaking. With a striking voice and radiant energy, 4-time Grammy winner Angelique Kidjo is a chart-topping world music superstar. She blends the West African traditions of her childhood with R&B, funk, and jazz. and her concerts always culminate in joyous, on-stage dance parties. So this will be the perfect season closer for the Moss. Isn't she incredible? And we're not the only ones who are excited. Here are some special greetings from our friends.
Hi, I'm Chris Lashua, Creative Director for Cirque Mechanics. We're excited to be bringing Birdhouse Factory to the Moss Center later this season. Inspired by the murals of Diego Rivera and the comedy of Charlie Chaplin's Modern Times, it's full of great acrobatics, stunts, and mechanical staging, and its story is about people in a factory who are inspired by a lone bird to find their own freedom. That's why it's part of the Moss Arts Center's theme, Flight and Refuge. We look forward to seeing you there. It's been a rough few months for all of us. We're very excited to be bringing Birdhouse Factory back out on tour. See you at the show.
Hi, I'm China Forbes, lead singer of Pink Martini, and I'm very excited to be joining Thomas Lauderdale, Pink Martini's band leader, for a performance for Moss Arts Center on October 9th, 2020. This virtual performance will be an incredible moment for us because we haven't been together very much, and we will be hopefully in the same room, socially distanced, performing music from our repertoire, as well as staying after for a Q&A with all of you. So we hope you can join us and bring your best questions, and we'll see you then.
Hello, my name is Rune Tonsgaard Sørensen, and I play in the Danish string quartet. We are looking very, very much forward to getting back on the road, and one of the places that we will be visiting this coming season is the Moss Arts Center. So we sincerely hope to see you at this concert, and until then, stay safe, stay healthy, take care, and see you later this season. Bye.
Hello, I'm Gabriela Montero, pianist and composer, and I'm very excited to be filming a live concert on September 13th for the Moss Center. I hope you can tune in. I'm here in Barcelona, I'm with my family, and I guess I've used this time as much as possible to try and stay healthy and spend time together with my girls and my husband, and I hope you're all well, and I look forward to sharing music with you on September the 13th. Virginia, Moss Center. See you there. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jessie Montgomery, composer and violinist of the Catalyst Quartet. I was really thrilled to be able to perform at the Moss Arts Center about 7 years ago as a member of the Sphinx Virtuosi. And you might have heard a work of mine performed by the Dance Theater of Harlem just this past fall at the Moss. I really am looking forward to getting back on stage again, and I'm excited that Catalyst is coming to the Moss Arts Center this season with Amani Winds. Our program includes a new work of mine that's inspired by the Great Migration of African Americans in the United States that took place between the early to mid 20th century. And it's from the perspective of my great-grandfather, Sergeant William Macaulay. This work is part of the Moss's theme, Flight and Refuge. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Hi, I'm Katie Gert. I am the Director of Marketing and Communication here at the Moss Arts Center. And I just want to say thank you for joining us here today. We have been so excited for this opportunity to share with you what we've been working on. But I'm sure you have some questions for us, or at least I hope you do. So I want to encourage you, if you haven't already, go ahead and start adding those into the Q&A panel in Zoom webinar. Or if you're joining us on Facebook Live, hi, go ahead and ask your questions there. We're monitoring that as well. So now I'd like to welcome back Ruth and Margaret.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone who's tuning in here for this program. We are really excited about next season and all of the opportunities ahead. I hope you all are as excited as we are now, too. Of course, if there's anything we've learned in the past few months, as everyone has, things can change. So I think we've done a really good job of structuring our season so that we can be sort of incremental. So some of the programs programs that you saw highlighted tonight will not have dates announced yet for them because they're coming later in the winter or in the spring. But we're very hopeful and excited for all of those programs. And of course, we do have our fall virtual HomeStage series up and running. In fact, this evening you should be able to go to our website and find out more information about those, and including ticketing information, and start buying your tickets for our fabulous HomeStage series. Before we dive into the questions, I was just going to share a little bit about the ticketing. We've structured that for the HomeStage series, each program is $10 to sign up for. You can have all 7 of the live performance events for $60, and then we have a really special fanfare access that we've added for $100, and that's for those of you who are especially supportive of the arts and the Moss Art Center and want to help us by providing a little extra support for the work that we have going on here this year and this fall. So with all of that, I think we want to turn back to Katie for questions.
Great, thanks Ruth. That's great information, and we have some questions coming in. I want to encourage everybody to keep that up. But I'm going to ask you the first question. Given the really excellent lineup of performers we have this fall in the HomeStage series, I'm interested in knowing what each of you is looking forward to most.
That's a hard question. Well, you want me to, I can start, Margaret, if you'd like. Just and seeing the videos again and all of the, it really is difficult to choose, but I know one that I'm especially looking forward to is Delana Studi. We were planning to bring her full performance, a one-woman show, and she will be doing excerpts from that play and have a moderated conversation and Q&A with the audience. Really beautiful story. Her research took her along the Trail of Tears to understand her heritage and background, and really artistically fantastic, and it's also something that's very meaningful now. And we're also able to bring that program on Indigenous Peoples Day, so it really has a special place in our fall season for many different reasons, connecting with the campus, with our students, and the community.
That's also one of my favorites, but so as not to repeat, I love them all, but I'm especially excited about Javad Alipur's The Believers Are But Brothers, because that is not only a phenomenal performance, he's so charismatic and so smart, but for those of us who've been missing theaters themselves, this is actually a fully staged performance coming just to us from his home theater in Manchester. So not only do you get to see the actual performance fully, but built into that architecture of the piece itself is that the entire audience becomes part of a group on WhatsApp, and part of the play comes to you that way, and your responses become part of the play. So it's really, really smart and really cutting edge, and I think it'll be fascinating.
Those all sound wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. Related to the HomeStage series, for these online events, will they only be available live, or will there be a recording available?
These will be available live, and if you have a ticket, that gives you access to your own unique link, and if you either have to miss the exact moment that it happens, or if you want to see it again, it will stay up just for you and your link for 7 days, but we're not going to be offering them to others or through other ticketing mechanism other than the day that they're live, or before that.
Thank you. We have a question. My daughter usually gets to attend free matinee shows at the Moss. What kind of outreach will you be able to do with K through 12 age children this year?
I'm happy to answer that one too.
Thanks, Margaret.
I'll just keep talking. So yes, the school time matinees that we offer, generally one a month during the school year for free, both for K through 12 students in the schools and homeschooled students, are still very much part of the mix. Ordinarily, I would say pre-pandemic, the first one wouldn't have come until mid-November. And so we'll be making that determination about whether that is an in-person performance in the Moss theater or if it'll be streamed. But we are hearing that there's quite a bit of interest for streaming as well. So we very well may offer a hybrid, and we are still very much planning on offering that series, as well as other engagement in the K through 12 schools, either virtually or in person as the year goes on. Yes.
Great, thank you. Let's see, I'll toss one at Ruth, because you've...
Okay.
Ruth, what opportunities are there for Virginia Tech students this season?
Well, also a key part of our mission and a prime audience for us, certainly our Virginia Tech students. In terms of the HomeStage series in the fall, those will be free for Virginia Tech students. So they will have access to all of the performances that we're offering through that series. In addition, and as with the K-12 programming, there is engagement activity that's scheduled from those artists that we're working with as well. So again, there will be some that may be synchronous with class times. There may be some that will be offered at differing times, but that has been very much a part of the whole process in talking to artists. I know one of the things that Margaret has mentioned frequently, which I think is really one of the silver linings in all of this, is that in terms of working with the artists and setting up that kind of an engagement with our student and the variety of activities, typically we'll have an artist here in Blacksburg in town for maybe 2 or 3 days, and so it becomes quite a process to schedule everything that we want to do in a short window of time. Being able to offer these things virtually means there's a little more expansion with that time and what we can do and how we can schedule. So there will be a lot of great things. And also we have, of course, the fall student art exhibition, which will be in our upper gallery here in the Moss Art Center, a live in-person exhibition that we're very excited about. And that's our Moss student ambassadors, who are a volunteer student group, will be doing a call for proposals and curating that project. So it's another really exciting aspect for students this fall too.
Great. So Margaret, are you looking at planning any outdoor performances this year?
Currently, we're not. We were contemplating one that kind of at the last minute we had to postpone. We still are very much going to do it, but it may be in the following season. So stay tuned, the long lead. But even when we do present outdoor events, you always have to find a rain space. So you really do run up against the same logistical challenges that you do currently to go inside a theater. And so for that reason, we're not currently planning outdoor performances.
Okay. I'm not sure if this question is regarding the theater or our online performances, but are we limiting the number of people who can buy tickets?
Well, that, in terms of the HomeStage, the virtual series for this fall, no. It's not limited in the same way as the capacity of the theater.
Isn't that wonderful?
It is. That's another silver lining, right? Yeah, absolutely. So we would not be that, as we scan forward and think about spring, if we're in a similar situation with the types of physical distancing that needs to happen, the capacity within our theater would certainly be greatly reduced. So that would be a different consideration. And that's one of those things that we're really working through as a team here as we consider the plans for spring going into the fall. As we're considering all of this, what are those impacts? How do we manage that? And even with us, in decreased number of people, being very conscientious and cautious about getting people into and out of the facility and so on. But for the virtual series, no. And another fabulous aspect of that is that we're not just really restricted to people who are here physically present in Blacksburg. Our programming can be seen by your friends and family everywhere. So we hope you'll share all of this information and encourage people to join you.
And you'll even notice when you see the website that it actually now says Eastern Standard Time.
Right.
So we're very international now.
All right. Well, Margaret, we know you've been really hard at work at the lineup because you've shown us some really great things this evening that we can look forward to. When will we have a complete schedule of events?
Well, you will have the complete schedule of HomeStage events tonight. But as Ruth said a few minutes ago, we think that the smartest way and the most effective way to go forward, which is always challenging for a programmer because you want to have everything done, right? We're all kind of control freaks. But the best way for us to go forward is in phases. So we're looking at later this fall to understand more about what the next kind of chapter of performances is. Hopefully they'll be indoors. That's our very large hope. We think it's possible, but we have to wait and see. And then we'll go from there. But you can be sure that we'll be very clear with communications with everybody so you'll know what to expect and when to expect it.
Another challenge to chime in too. I mean, all of you out there who are regular patrons here at the Moss Art Center, you know that we do a lot of international programming, and that's another big factor that Margaret's been dealing with as well. You know, artists from abroad and all of the uncertainties that they face in terms of traveling and getting visas, and so many unknowns still in terms of that, even as we look at the spring. So those are all of the moving parts.
Yes, it's definitely a year unlike we've ever faced before. Mm-hmm. So I guess this is Margaret again for you. Paula Poundstone was originally scheduled in June, and we have postponed that performance. I believe it's now in December. Is that still scheduled?
Yes, that is still on the calendar for December 20th in the Fife. And if there's any change to that, we'll let you know. But if you did have a ticket before, you absolutely still have a ticket. We've migrated you, unless you told us otherwise, to December 20th. And in that fall communication, you can definitely expect to hear from us one way or the other. But we do very much hope to still present her.
Wonderful. And another holiday favorite around here for the community certainly is Holiday Pops with the Roanoke Symphony Orchestra. Any chance we'll be seeing them this year?
I can answer this, but Ruth can too.
Yeah.
We all share a lot here.
We do, yeah.
Yeah, we've been in a lot of conversation, as you can imagine, with the Roanoke Symphony about that wonderful Holiday Pops performance. We were, as you probably know, we were able to post a couple different wonderful archival videos over the summer from our kind of video vault. And I think at one point there were 40 sousaphone players like dancing down the aisle. I just could not believe it. That was definitely pre-pandemic. But anyway, yeah, so we're exploring different options with them. And we, again, like in line with the announcements that you can expect to see from us as we head into the early fall, we will be letting you know if they can be here live. We certainly hope so. They're doing a lot of really serious work to understand the safety issues there and the financial issues. But we hope to be able to bring them in some way or another because they're a really important partner and a wonderful part of our community.
Wonderful. All right, just another encouragement. We're starting to run low on questions, so if you have anything else before we wrap up, please be sure to enter your question into that Q&A panel so that I can see it. We do have one. Given the challenging circumstances, what can people do to support the Moss right now?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that question. Well, we certainly hope that people will support the programs, participate, take part in everything that we have going on this fall and as we go forward. I mean, that's why we're here. We want you to be a part of what we're doing and to enjoy that. Certainly, contributions are important to us, and as we look at a very different sort of budget year, I'm sure as well. Contributing to our annual fund is a wonderful way to support what we're doing, and so that would be lovely as well. There's information about giving on our website. You can certainly find that, and we would appreciate any support and sharing the word. As I said, we're not just sort of limited anymore. There really are no boundaries in terms of who our audience can be for the HomeStage series this fall. So we hope that you will spread the word and encourage others to take part too.
Great. Thank you. Well, those are all the questions we have right now. I want to encourage everyone, if you have questions later, if you didn't want to ask them in this format, do get in touch. We'd love to hear from you and provide you whatever information you need. And thank you, Ruth and Margaret. Do you have any closing thoughts you'd like to share this evening?
Oh, just thanks so much again for everyone who's here tonight and for all of the support we've had from all of you in our community. You know, we're going into our 8th season now, so it's going to be different, but we know it's going to be very, very special. And as I said, we want you to be there with us.
Great.
Thank you so much for being on this adventure with us. We're going to have a great time.
Great, thank you both. As Ruth mentioned earlier, you can now find the HomeStage series information on our website. So that includes the performance dates, descriptions, and ticket information. And for those of you who have joined us, we've gone ahead and opened up ticket sales a little early, so they are on sale now. So that's great. That's all we have for this evening, but do stay tuned. We hope to have additional announcements for you soon throughout the fall. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. We hope to see you again really soon.